So what do princes wear on their feet? Air Jordans. Because they're the heir to the throne. Oh.
Perfect.
Right, broskies, we are back with a sneaker that's not technically mine, but I've got someone here to help me with it. In today's episode, we are reviewing the Nike Air Jordan 1 Zoom Comfort 2s. So everyone knows a Jordan 1. You've either seen them, had them, or both. But majority of people, like myself, put highs on a pedestal as the best one. Yes, the lows are pretty nice, and the mids, a lot of people don't like them. I don't have a problem with them, but I don't really wear them. For me, the highs is where it's at. They've got the best colorways, and most of the time, or before anyway, the best materials were on those. Yes, the recent materials on the Jordan 1 highs, they're questionable to say the least. Now, we are talking about here though, the Jordan 1 Zoom Air Comfort 2s. And in theory, this sneaker is meant to be a lot more comfortable than your standard Jordan 1 high. Now, if you haven't already noticed, no, those are not my ankles on screen. They're actually my wife's. And those poor little ankles have been through a lot trying to wear these shoes, especially for this review. But before we give you her thoughts on the shoe, let's have a look at the box and what these come with. Now, I've got to be real, I didn't actually expect this level to detail when it comes to this sneaker. Yes, I know it is a Jordan 1 high and all, but the comforts, they don't get spoken about enough. But it comes in this Jordan 1 high style box with this sort of cardboard look effect, with the Nike branding, of course, being in black. Inside of the lid, it does give us some details into what's different between a normal Jordan 1 high and this pair. It talks about the midfoot lockdown panels, the flexibility to the ankle collars apparently anyway, meant to have a better forefoot fit, and the cushioning and response is meant to be better on the midsole and insole. But of course, pause the screen if you want to read it in full. Now, what I found pretty cool, which normally only comes with OG colorways to Jordans, is this sort of squared off leaflet. On one side it has Air Jordan, and then on the other side it has the Nike branding. But again, it has more detail in what's different with this actual sneaker. Talks about the architecture of the shoe, the breathability and lightweight feel to them, the Zoom Air unit, and of course the formula to the foam, which is meant to be a lot more softer. And last but not least, to the box. Unfortunately, the sticker is kind of ripped off on this box, but it basically does say Women's Jordan 1 Zoom Air Comfort 2. But the official colorway is muslin, black and black and blue. Now, to mention the price, these do retail for around $150 here in the UK, and I will leave some purchase links down below just in case you like this pair or some other colorways too. But we actually picked these up for £80 in the sale, so I can't really argue with that. Now, my missus initially wanted the Panda Dunk.
Oh, no.
And I had to sit her down and just tell her, look, are you sure? Because every Tom, Dick and Ahmed has a pair. So she thought about it, saw a couple people with them on, and she changed her mind. So we looked around and she saw these, and yes, they were on sale, and yes, I told her to get them. But she liked them. She liked the colorway, the materials, and of course a Jordan 1 high. No, it's not an OG sort of style, but you can't really argue with it. But anyway, I actually sort of sat down with my missus to see what she actually thought of the shoe. Now bear in mind, this first part was when she initially tried them on, and I asked her 48 hours after. But we'll get to that bit. Just listen in.
Big man ting.
Grow up, please. Right, okay. So just relax, chill out, Mrs. Broski. I'm going to ask you two questions now that you've got them. You've only just tried them on basically. And How is the sizing?
The sizing's great. I have some space at the front, which I really like, and my toes can wiggle around.
Okay, so they're not tight, they're just sort of like perfect, or?
I'd say they're perfect.
Cool. Right, so are they comfortable? A lot of people want to know, because they're meant to be the more comfortable Jordan 1. Are they comfortable, say, compared to the Terminators you bought or the Air Max 95s?
Compared to the Terminators, I'd say they're about the same. They've got a bit more room, which I like. Compared to the Air Max...
Yeah.
The
95s.
These are so much better. The Air Max 95s were so tight on my foot. I was struggling to walk. Let's just put it that way.
But like underneath, do you think it's more spongy, or like how do you think they feel?
I'd say it's in the middle. It's not very spongy like my New Balances.
Yeah.
But they're not hard. I mean, they're comfortable. So yeah.
Cool. Out of 10 in terms of comfort?
I'd say around 8.5.
Cool. All right. So we've only asked these questions now that you've just got them. We are going to ask you in a couple of days when you wear them out and about and
I'll
that
take
sort of
them
thing.
to central London.
Yeah. We'll see about that one. But yeah, we'll check in a couple of days. All right.
Cool.
So of course we've heard her first initial thoughts about the shoe. Now let's take an up close and personal look to see what's different with this one. Now if you are familiar with the Jordan 1 silhouette, especially the high, this does look very similar. But just like the info in the box suggests, they have changed up quite a lot. But going around the materials on this shoe, most of the sneaker is made off this nubuck / suede. I can't lie, this colorway is very clean. But as you can imagine, because of the materials, it's a lot more softer on foot than your traditional leather pair. The Nike swooshes though are of this sort of textile mesh, which does add a nice contrast. Now the blue flaps on the shoe are actually sort of free flowing, so if you didn't have the laces going through them, they just flap. Now they only come with one set of laces, and the tongue is a nice shade of cream. Now this whole tongue is covered in perforation holes for that added breathability, but it's very padded and very comfortable. And as you can see, we've got the Zoom Air brand in there where the Nike Air would sit. Now I can't wait for you to hear what my missus had to say after wearing these for around 9 hours. Honestly, it's so funny. But as you'll find out, the controversial part about this sneaker, it actually does look good. It's got nowhere near the amount of padding a normal Jordan 1 high has. And it's got these weird holes, and I guess it's for added breathability, but I don't see the point in it. But anyway, of course, it's all blacked out here with the insole in that creamy color with the Zoom Air in black. Now, this insole is so nice and cushioned. I do wish every Jordan 1 high had this. Honestly, it would make such a difference. But a lot of perforation holes again to add the breathability, but the comfort is the main selling point. Now, as we move our way to the ankle collar, of course, we have that blue panel with the Air Jordan Wings logo in that sort of creamy color, and then more suede panels around the back too. Now, the midsole itself, at first glance, looks like a normal Jordan 1 high. In this particular colorway, it is in that cream. However, the outsole does change it up here. Around the outer layer where the black panels are, it looks near enough identical to the OG. But as we get to the cream panels, they are very soft. A lot softer in terms of the paneling, and of course we have that Nike branding in the middle and that Formula 23 brand in there too. And that hit of red with the Zoom Air just to signify this is Zoom Air comfort. And I won't lie, just touching it alone, you can just feel the difference in softness. Right, now we've had a proper look at the shoes, let's hear to what my missus had to say after 48 hours with this sneaker. So Mrs. Broski, we are back 48 hours after our last conversation about the shoes.
We're back.
It's a bit of a traumatic experience to say the least. How are you feeling after wearing them for what? How many hours? 8 hours straight?
I think 9 hours.
9 hours, yeah. So we did what? 18,080 steps, 880 steps.
So nearly 19k steps.
Yeah. So obviously it's an estimate. It's never like really that accurate. But how are you feeling? Have you changed your mind about the shoes? Are they comfortable still? How do you feel?
Well, where do I start? They felt really good until about 3 or 4 hours in to our trip. We'd been walking quite a lot. We'd done about 10,000 steps at this point, and I could feel the right foot digging into my ankle. And
just, sorry to cut you, just for context, obviously there's gonna be a lot of B-roll in terms of what we got up to. And basically we went to the V&A Museum in South Kensington, which is near enough central London. And then obviously throughout the day we went to get something to eat around the same area. Also we did a long ass walk.
Yeah, we walked from the V&A to Battersea Power Station.
Yeah, which was about
a long walk.
What, just over half an hour from there. And then obviously we're just window shopping, looking around, picking up some things, got something to eat as well after Vapiano's, which was in Tottenham Court Road.
Yeah.
So a lot of steps, a lot of travelling throughout central London on the tube, which is the London Underground, for people who don't know. So there's a lot of steps, a lot of obviously different terrain as well. But
stairs as well.
Let's just go back to the sizing though. Do you think, because obviously your feet are swelling up throughout the day, do you think the sizing was still okay for you, or?
My feet didn't swell up.
Listen, relax. Yeah, they always swell. Everyone's feet swell up. But do you think the sizing was okay, or?
The sizing was fine. The bit around my ankles wasn't. I'm not impressed.
Okay.
I've come home with dented ankles. I've literally got dents on the back of both of my calves from the shoes. So yeah. I'm not impressed.
But just obviously to compare to what you're used to like low top shoes, aren't you? You're not used to high tops.
My go-tos are my New Balance my New Balances.
Yeah, which are the shoes we reviewed before. I can't remember the name. 453s, I think. I'll put it on the screen anyway.
Yeah.
And a link to that review. But her first 4 high tops were the Terminators, and obviously you haven't worn them for that amount of time as these.
No.
So you can't really compare in that to that extent. But it's like most other shoes. You have to sort of break them in, which is obviously it's hard to compare to other shoes. But then again, it depends what you're doing throughout the day, how long you're wearing them for, and also what you're getting up to as well. And
also the size of your ankles.
Yeah, so
I don't have the daintiest ankles. I wouldn't say they're fat, but you know, they're robust ankles.
It's sort of, they're thick, but not like fat ankles. Like I've got really skinny joints, so I can't really give you the same experience as my wife, but I get what she's saying. Like if you're not used to them and if they're not worn in, you may have trouble around the ankle area.
Yeah, if you're a woman with more slender ankles or a smaller bone structure, you might not have the same problem that I did, but this is the day after now and I've actually got bruises on my ankles.
Yeah, I can vouch for that, to be fair. If you have to rate them out of 10 still, can you recommend them to people, and what rating would you give them?
I'd give them a 6 because they do look great. They held up through the rain, which was quite important because it rained all day in London yesterday.
Yeah. But we did spray them.
Yeah.
Well, I sprayed them with Sneaky Spray, which is my go-to water and dirt repellent. I will leave a link to that down below as well. It's my Amazon affiliate link. So obviously that helps. That's the only one I use because it's very cheap and it's very, very good for like suedes and nubucks. But yeah, carry on.
Yeah, so I'd give them a 6 out of 10. If you've got slightly wider ankles like I have, loosen the laces up as much as you can and maybe wear thicker socks.
Yeah.
Or stick a plaster around the back of your ankle.
Yeah. Okay, so would you buy them again is the question, or would you give them a buy, as in no?
If a really nice colorway came out, then yes, I'd buy them again.
No, but these.
Oh, these particular ones?
Yeah, the same ones.
Yeah, they look great. It's what I wanted. They go with my outfit. So yeah, I would buy them again. I just wouldn't wear them for more than sort of 3 hours or if I had to walk around a lot.
Okay, so maybe sort of break them in for a little bit first around the house, maybe for a couple hours, if that, and then go out on the sort of big excursion. Or
Could do, yeah.
But you still recommend them to anyone?
Yeah, they look great and they're very comfortable. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, apart from obviously the ankle area. Yeah. But bear in mind, compared to a normal Jordan 1, especially a high or a mid, they're not the same material. So you're not going to get the same padding and it's a different feeling from what I can tell anyway. But yeah, we are going to leave that here. Thank you to Mrs. Broski for giving her life experience when it comes to these Jordan 1s. And I hope this helped you guys as well. And yeah, back to the review, guys. So to go over what she had to say, the sizing was spot on in terms of true to size. However, the part she really didn't like is the ankle collar. Now, like we did speak about, she's so familiar with low cut sneakers. So going for a high sneaker, it was a bit of a gamble. And she hasn't really had that problem with the Terminators compared to this pair. But then again, she hasn't worn them for as long as she did with these. And maybe it's just the case, like she said, in loosening the laces or wearing thicker socks. And you know what? I think after you've broken them in, they'll be just fine, and maybe we'll do an update video, who knows. But for myself personally, if I had to decide whether these are a buy or a buy, I do like the look of them, so I am indeed going to give these an absolute buy. So my missus liked them and I absolutely like the look of them as well, especially the materials. But I want you to let me know what you think about these Jordan 1 Zoom Comfort 2s. Is this one on your radar, or is this an absolute miss? And if you have stayed this long in the video, I want you to comment down below, thank you Mrs. Broski, because she did help out a lot. And even though she wasn't on camera, she gave us the waffle. So thank her down below. And of course, broskis, if you are interested in football and Arsenal, check out my other YouTube channel. We are slowly building it up. And whilst you're here, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and till the next episode, take care. Oh, that was perfect. Take care. Isn't mine, but, no. There's no buts. In my opinion, the highs is, for me, is inside of the lid, black and blue. Right, what do I talk about now? So before I have a deep dive, so before going around the actual It's the coffee. Why do I have coffee before recording, bro? I'm ready to fight. And I asked her again. Almost. Now bear in mind, this first part was... Right, so when she first... Okay. Now if you are familiar, sound like Vin Diesel. Full color. Are sort of a... And I brought out my true... And I can't lie, I brought out my true blue fleas. Freeze. Mr. Freeze. Batman. Oh, Arnie. What a guy. Find them, Brett. And I brought out my true blue Ed. And I brought out my chairs? What chairs? And I brought out my true Drew. And I brought out a case of wearing thicker socks. Billy.